Good morning! I wanted to show you the beautiful snowflakes. I hope we get some more snow today. Hello my dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana the Book Hunt. As you've just seen, the weather outside is the perfect kind of weather to actually stay in and do a reading vlog. That's what I'm going to be doing today, and I was very generously invited by Read with Dr. B, which is my friend Vanessa over at Instagram, who invited me to participate in this baking booktube vlog collaboration video. So she invited a bunch of us so we can read together and bake together. Essentially, I'm going to link all of their channels down below so you can check out their recipes and their baking and their reading for this reading vlog. And I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to be making. I'm going to be taking you with me to my kitchen because I do love to bake. I love to cook. I love to bake more than I love to cook. So typically in my household, I'll be baking a couple of times a week, maybe once or twice a week if I get the time. And today I'm going to be making something that is based on one of my favorite books. We get this recipe in one of my favorite books that I read last year. I actually think that the idea behind this video was, first of all, to try to find a book that has a holiday themed setting and then find a recipe in it and try to make it. But that has proven to be quite difficult because there's quite a few books that center on the holiday period that are foodie romances, but not a lot of recipes are shared in them. And authors, if you're watching this is a plea from one of your readers who loves the foodie romance trope, but then I would love to see the recipes because I want to actually make these recipes. It makes it all the more real for me because then I can kind of make whatever I'm reading and then feel like I'm in the plot, if you get what I mean. So I would love to see more books have actual recipes in them. And the thing is, I didn't find a holiday themed book that has a recipe in it for me to make. So I ventured out and I found other alternatives. The first thing that I'm going to mention is I'm going to make a couple of things. I'm not going to make only one thing, but a couple of things because I got inspired. I love to cook, like I mentioned. So I was reading through these recipes and I was like, I want to make this and I want to make this and I want to make this. So this is going to be me sharing a couple of recipes from a couple of different books. And I'm going to clue you in on something, which is there is this kind of cookbook bundle that is based on romance authors' books, which is called, I think, Happily Ever After Cookbook. And it has a bunch of authors with a bunch of their romance books that have recipes in them. And in this book, they've actually written down the full recipes and also a couple of excerpts from the actual book so you can get interested in them and pick them up potentially. So I really love the idea behind that. And I'm going to be making, I think, 2 recipes. They're quite short because they're easy to make and I just want to try them out, and if I like them then I may purchase the ebook for it because they're quite expensive. I think the ebook is 12 euros and the physical book is like 35 euros. So I don't want to purchase something that I potentially don't have a need for. So I'm just going to try those 2 recipes. They're actually available through the sample on Amazon. So just read through a couple of chapters of this book. So I found these 2 recipes through there. I'm going to make them. And the first of them is for bruschetta, which is an Italian appetizer. And the second thing is Brussels sprouts that are mixed with some kind of a Parmesan dressing. I'm not sure how to call it, but they look really good. I love Brussels sprouts, so I'm going to be making that. And then when it comes to the baking part of this video, I'm going to be focusing on this baby over here. This is Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. I read this book last year and I completely fell in love with it. This book centers on a Michelin star pastry chef. Her name is Miller, and a baseball playing star whose name is Kai, who has recently become a single dad. He has a baby at home and he needs a nanny, and Miller becomes the nanny for the summer because she has some things going on that I'm not going to go into detail with, but essentially she's a pastry chef, so she cooks a lot and she is in desperate need for some kind of inspiration to set in so that she can move on with her next project. Once she starts babysitting with baby Max, she has one scene within the book. I've marked it down here somewhere on page 182. When she gives him a banana and he starts playing around with it, and she gets the idea to make banana bread. Banana bread is one of the things that I love to make in my own home. And the thing is, while the recipe here is not full, it does kind of ring true to what I'm making. So I'm going to stick to my kind of tried and true recipe. I'm going to show you how I make my banana bread, but it kind of says here, mash the bananas, have 4 eggs, and grab some oil and some flour and some baking powder and everything, you know. So it's already described within this scene how to make the banana bread, and I'm going to make it as I know it. So you're going to see me making some banana bread today as well. And I'm going to show you the full results in the end. And in the meantime, because this is going to be a reading vlog and I've already read this book, so I'm not going to be reading this, I'm going to clue you in on what I'm reading at the moment. So the thing is, this week I had been invited by Beccie from becxreadz for some reading sprints. And we were reading romantasy books. At that time I was reading Phantasma, but I already finished that one and I really enjoyed it. And because I kind of finished it while we were doing the sprints, I asked them, you know, what should I pick up next? I gave them a couple of options and they told me that I should pick up Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And because I purchased with a credit the audiobook for it through Audible, I'm listening to the audiobook, and it's quite a long audiobook. It's 20 hours, and I think I'm at quite at the beginning. I'm at chapter 8, and it's quite an interesting setup. At the start of the book, we've got this kind of a badass heroine who lives in this area of this kingdom that is quite poor, and they don't have any access to water. So this is like the rarest kind of thing for them. They really are in dire need to find some water to drink. So she stole something of very big value from the Queen's Guard, and she got caught essentially doing it. And the thing is, after this happens and she gets to be presented to the Queen, something interesting happens. It's this kind of setup of her getting beat up almost to death, and then she touches an enchanted sword. I don't know how to explain it. I'm so bad at explaining fantasy books, but she touches this enchanted sword that kind of opens up a different realm, a realm of fae, and she gets rescued by these fae. And right now I'm at the first scene when she's in this fae kingdom and she's trying to figure out what exactly is going on, because she never knew about them being in existence. She thought that they were just a myth, like a fairy tale. And she's kind of trying to get her bearings of where she is and what's going on. And I'm quite curious. I've been enjoying the introduction to this fantasy world. I do think that, obviously, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, not another fairy book. But I'm like, you know, if you can do it well, why not? I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. So I don't think that it's something that is... Even some people may find it corny. I don't. I like it. So I'm enjoying it so far. As long as it's well written, there is a good dynamic to it. It flows well. There is some good atmosphere. The heroine is very well described as a badass heroine, something that I tend to like within fantasy books. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm curious to see how the romance will kick in. We're quite at the start, so it's normal that we're not at that part yet. But yeah, I'm going to keep on reading today, because like you're seeing, the weather outside is exactly the kind of weather for me to keep on listening to my audiobook. We're going to go grocery shopping so I can buy some of the products I need for the things I'm going to make. And then I'm going to be listening to the audiobook and show you what I'm making in the kitchen. And then, yeah, this is going to be the setup for the reading vlog today. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you get inspired to bake something of your own, and I'll see you in the next update.
Hello.
My little helper today wants to say hello. He wants to help me make our famous banana bread. Say banana bread.
Banana bread.
Good, very good. So let me share the recipe with you, and I'm gonna take you with me on how I prepare my famous banana bread. And obviously, like I mentioned before, the idea comes from this book over here. And I told you in the previous clip that on page 183 you have a short description of what the start of the mix looks like, but I'm going to take you with me and share the full recipe with you, at least for the banana bread that I make at home almost every week. So I've got 2 mixing bowls. I have my casserole over here. So important for the casserole is, if you have one like this one, you also need to use parchment paper so it doesn't stick to it and you can easily take it out once it's finished. So I've got my sifting thing over here for the flour. I also have a cup with which I'm going to measure, because I don't own measuring cups. I've got a scale because this is how I measure my ingredients. Very important, because with baking you actually do need to sift through everything in the proper measurements. So this is important. Let me just go back to where I am so you can see me when I'm talking to you. So the thing is, you need to use the proper measurements, right? Because if you get something, so for example, too much flour, then it becomes too dense. If it's too watery, then it's going to be a bit sticky inside. So it's very important to use the right measurements when it comes to the ingredients. I've got flour, baking soda, I've got vanilla essence, I've got sugar. I use regular sugar for this one, although it really depends on what I have at home. Sometimes I'll use coconut sugar, sometimes I'm going to use brown sugar, sometimes I'm going to use sweetener. There is a specific kind of sweetener that I really typically do tend to like, but I just don't have it at home at the moment, so I'm just going to use plain old sugar. I've got something that I use in my banana bread that is not the regular kind of ingredient, because we in our household want to have everything lactose free, because my partner requires that for his health. So I've got lactose free yogurt that I put inside. So in regular recipes there's going to be sometimes sour cream, sometimes it's going to be some kind of a heavy cream that they put inside, but for my recipe we just use lactose free yogurt. Because we need lactose-free products in our banana bread, I use plant-based butter. And this one I'm going to actually melt at a slow pace in a casserole, so I can use it in a slightly warm kind of a temperature in the banana bread. We need 2 eggs, my little helper is reminding me. And for the finishing touches, or actually I do have some spices that I put inside. So this is ground ginger, and I've got a very good spice mix. This is a pumpkin spice mix. There is all kinds of things that go into, you know, pumpkin spice. So essentially I cannot translate them, but it really, if I open it, it just smells delicious. It's really good. So I'm going to put a tiny bit, because it's a lot. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of that. And to top it off, I always put hazelnuts on the banana bread, as well as I put inside blueberries, because with the blueberries it just is a great mix. So I'm going to go ahead and start on, first of all, I'm going to first of all start with measuring out my butter, because we do need 100 grams. So the thing is, I'm from Europe, so we don't do the inches and the I don't know what kind of the pounds kind of a measuring scheme, so I don't know how I'm going to tell you how much I'm putting in, but 100 grams of butter we need. So I forgot the most important ingredient, and that is obviously the bananas. It needs to be said that when making banana bread, the best option is to have ripe bananas. So I'm going to mash them up. I take 3 bananas, I mash them up. And one thing I have to say about banana bread is that unlike other pastries and desserts that I make, I will whisk them only with spatula and with a whisker, so not with an electrical, any kind of mixer or tool, because this is not necessary. It needs to get just enough air so that it doesn't become lumpy, but it doesn't need to be over mixed. So I'm going to show you in a sec what's going to happen. My little helper here has moved everything over because I think he's just too excited and wants to do everything already. So we've got the dry ingredients, so we've got the flour, baking soda, there is some salt inside as well. There is the pumpkin spice mix as well as the ginger in this bowl. Then in this bowl we've got the eggs, sugar, vanilla essence, and the yogurt, and it's been whisked together well. And then we've got the butter that will go on top of everything once I've mixed the two together. And then we've got the mashed bananas. So this is essentially it. It's not very difficult, and I didn't do a good job of letting you know the exact measurements, but I'm going to put the measurements in the description box of my video below so you can check it out if you want to try to make this. So I'm just going to go ahead and combine the ingredients together. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of, I don't know what the texture is called. It's not very runny, but it's also not very dense. So it's quite a good mixture for the cake, for the bread, the banana bread. And then I've prepared my parchment paper and my casserole, and I'm going to just pour it into the casserole. What I tend to do is I put half into the casserole and then I put some blueberries inside. So we put some blueberries into the middle of it, and then now we're going to pour the rest of the mixture into the casserole.
The blueberries is great. Okay? Well.
Alright, so this is what it looks like when I've put all of the mixture into the casserole. What did you say?
It's great.
It's great now? Is it beautiful?
Yes.
Is it pretty?
Yes.
Is it yummy?
Yes.
Okay, so we're done with decorating our cake, our banana bread. It's here. This is what it looks like before it goes into the oven. I'm going to put it in the oven. It's preheated at 180 degrees, which in Fahrenheit it's 350. It's going to cook for about 50 minutes. And I'm going to keep an eye out on it, obviously, so it doesn't get burnt on the top. If it does get too much color, then I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to show you the result once it's finished. I'm going to put it in the oven now and bake it for 50 minutes or so. Let's hope it gets as good as it usually does. Alright friends, so the banana bread is out of the oven. I have just covered it for the last 5 minutes because it was starting to get a bit more golden. So I am going to get a towel. This is what it looks like when it's finished. I hope you can see it well. And blueberries are the perfect finishing touch for this banana bread. I'm going to wait for it to cool off a little bit, and then I'm going to cut it in slices and try it out. I have full faith that it's ready because I have my wooden pricker thing here, and when I go through it, it's perfect. So it's going to be like a half an hour to 40 minutes for it to kind of cool off, and then we're going to try it out. Hello my dear friends, welcome to a new update on my baking booktube collaboration video that I was invited to participate in. I cook every day, so essentially I can sit down and film every single day what I'm cooking, so you can get a hold of what I'm eating in my household, But yeah, I decided to make the second recipe I was talking about today, but I'm going to be doing two things at the same time because my kid is hungry as well, and whatever he wants he gets in my house when it comes to food, especially during the weekend. It's a weekend day, so he wants pancakes, he's gonna get pancakes. So I'm going to be making some pancake batter at the moment, and then typically I will make pancake batter and let it sit for a bit, but he just came up with this last minute, as kids do, so I'm not going to let it sit. I'm just going to make it and then make the pancakes. And then I'm going to do my preparation for my bruschetta recipe. So the bruschetta recipe is from a Willow Winters book. I've not read this book, but I'm curious to look it up to see if I'm going to like it, because I've not read, I think, any Willow Winters books in the past. And I'm going to take you with me. It's quite simple recipe. I mean, bruschetta is something very easy to make, so I'm just going to dice up some tomatoes. In the recipe there is garlic, basil, some red pepper flakes, but I'm going to swap that off for an Italian mix where I do have red peppers in it. So this mix is quite good for the purpose of making bruschetta. And then obviously there's salt, olive oil, and balsamic vinegar for this one. So I'm going to prepare those things in a moment to prepare the bruschetta. I do have a baguette here that I'm going to slice up and then put in the oven to get it a bit crunchy. And yeah, that's going to be the bruschetta. And then when it comes to the pancakes, the batter I make myself. It's quite easy.
Hello.
Just flour. Hello.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Very good. So we've got just some plain flour, salt, and then it needs to be sifted again with the sifting, and then an egg, some milk, and some butter for the actual making of the pancake. Is quite easy. I'm going to show you in a bit how they turn out. And the thing is, one thing that I always forget to say is whenever someone's cooking and has long hair like myself, always put it up, because the worst thing that can happen is to get some hair in the food. So I always pull up my hair even though I look like crap like right now because of it. I'm just going to be cooking so the hair is out of the way. So I'm going to start on the pancakes, and then I'm going to start on the bruschetta as well. And I also wanted to give you an update on how far I've come with Quicksilver yesterday. I don't know at which chapter I am at the moment, but I've gotten to a point where the hero and heroine have already met. We've got Kingfisher, who is the hero. He is Faye. He actually pulled her out of the situation that she was stuck in when she got arrested, and he brought her to this Faye world. And they have figured out that she has some kind of an alchemist ability to influence this Quicksilver thing that is very important for the Fae world. And then she needs to help them out because this Quicksilver is something that is going to help them win some kind of a war. And she doesn't want to be there. She desperately wants to get back to her own world because her brother is now stuck there. And after the aftermath of what has happened with her, she's worried that he's going to get killed. So she wants to get back to save him. So they're having these discussions back and forth, herself and Kingfisher. Kingfisher just wants to use her for the purpose of whatever this Quicksilver thing is. And she is like, I'm not going to help you if my brother is in danger. So you need to do something. So I'm at this point where he is going to agree to save him if she's willing to participate in his plans. And there is an obvious attraction between them. He is provoking her. They really have this kind of enemies situation going on. He is provoking her to get a rise out of her while she hates his guts because of it. So I'm enjoying their dynamic when it comes to the romantic part of this romantasy. So I am enjoying it. I really am enjoying it so far. So I'm going to be continuing on with the audiobook today to see how far I'm going to come, because I think I still have about 7 hours into the audiobook. So I'm going to put you on pause, and then once I've finished the setup here, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. But I just wanted to show you my beautiful tomato that I got off of the, what is it? There's this guy who sells vegetables close to my home. So I'm going to slice it in little cubes. I've got fresh basil over here. I've got an amazing amazing balsamic vinegar that my brother, I think he got it from Italy somewhere, or from some kind of, I think he got it from Italy, I'm not sure, but he gifted it to me, so I'm going to use that. And like I mentioned before, I'm using the Italian herbs, and I've got some dashed or some very finely sliced garlic. Not a lot, because I still need to get about my day and I don't want to smell like garlic the whole day, but just a little bit. And I'm going to start off on some chopping and some preparing of the baguette. Alright, so 30 minutes later, everything is finished. And I'm going to show you everything and give you some info, even though it's kind of unnecessary, but I just like to ramble about food. So these are my finished pancakes. They smell so good. I have to say that the pancakes I make are a bit different than the French crepes. They look like French crepes, but they're not, because they're quite more meaty, so they're not very thin. And this is because I used to live in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands I find that their pancakes just work better for me. They're more, so there's more batter into, kind of thicker batter as well than the French crepes. The French crepes are made with very thin kind of a mixture, while the Dutch ones are not, and I just like them better, so I make them in the Dutch way. They do look like crepes, but they're really more meaty, and when you spread like Nutella or just some kind of a jam or honey or whatever you like as a topping, I can eat one and then I'm done, because they're just enough. And I've made enough for my partner and my son, and just a little mini pancake as a dessert for myself, because my lunch is actually going to be the bruschetta that I just made. I'm going to show you. I hope it doesn't get ruined when I lift it up like this. So these are my tiny little beautiful bruschetta. I have 6 of them. I don't know if I'll finish all of them, but I'm going to do my best. This is Bulgarian dried meat that I just bought yesterday from, there is this new shop here, a meat shop that is like a local shop, and they have their own produce of meat, and I really want to try something local, as well as support a little shop that is not just a grocery shop, just the big chain stuff. So I'm going to try it and see if I like it. And these are Greek Kalamata olives that I absolutely love, and this is Bulgarian cheese. It's not exactly feta, because feta typically has some goat cheese in it, and I don't like goat cheese, so this is cow cheese, but it's really creamy and very good, and I just absolutely love it whenever it's in a combination with some kind of tomato. So this is going to be my lunch. Thank you so much, Willow Aster, for recommending this recipe, because I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest. I'm going to give, or should I do a taste test right now? I just should try it out to see. This is so good. Disclaimer, it's 1 p.m. right now. I haven't eaten yet today, so I'm so hungry. I'm ravished. I just want to sit down and eat the whole plate. I typically fast, so I won't eat in the morning, and I'm just so hungry by this point that I just want to clean this plate. So I'm going to sit down, have my lunch, and I'm going to update you probably on another day, because I'm going to make the Brussels sprouts on another day, because tonight we'll actually have dinner at a Christmas market. There's going to be a lot of stands with Christmas market food and stuff, so we're gonna eat there. So I'm not going to cook tonight, but I'm going to make the Brussels sprouts sometime soon, so tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and update you with Quicksilver as well at that point. Hello dearest friends. Today I am on a way to fulfill a task with my little buddy over here. Say hello.
Hello.
So, hello who?
Hello, friends.
Hello friends. We're going to the book alley, as we call it, which is essentially a book fair. It happens 4 times a year, and today we're going to look for books, not so much for me, but more so for him. So we're going to go about, finish this task. I'm going to probably surprise my hubby with a piece of Dutch apple pie, something that he shouldn't be having, but I like to spoil him, so I'm going to go to a Dutch bakery to get a fresh piece of apple pie, and then we're going to go home. So I'm going to take you with me, possibly, if it's not too much of a crowd over there, and if it isn't, then I'm going to show you what it looks like. See you later. Alright, dear friends, so this is the last recipe that I still need to show you for this video. It's quite an easy one, fortunately. It's something that can be made in an air fryer, so essentially the prep time is about a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes, and then the cooking time is 15 minutes. I found it from the Cooking Ever After, I think, cookbook that I mentioned at the start of the video. It's based off of a book that I did not have on my radar, but I maybe need to check it out. It's called Dark Rain by Amelia Wilde, and the recipe is for Parmesan sprouts. So we've got some Brussels sprouts over here that we're going to season. We're going to season them with salt. Just need to salt them up. We need to pour a good amount of olive oil on them. I've got Italian olive oil, and then we sprinkle in a little balsamic vinegar. I'm just going to put a very little amount because I don't want it to be too strong. And then the recipe asks for thyme, so I'm going to put in some thyme, but honestly I'm going to sprinkle in some Italian herbs. So that is going on top. And then there is some black pepper that I need to grind on top. And the last thing is a healthy amount of Parmesan cheese. So typically, I think all of these measurements are for bigger amounts of food. Brussels sprouts are something that I love. My partner likes Brussels sprouts, but he shouldn't eat them because they're not very good for his stomach, so he's not going to eat any of this. That's why I'm making a little portion for myself. And then what we need to do is with a spoon kind of mix it all up so it gets evenly distributed over the sprouts. And the idea here is to put it in the air fryer for about 15 minutes, where halfway through we need to kind of juggle it up so it gets evenly heated. And it gets heated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. And then they're going to be finished, supposedly, so I'm going to try it out. I've never eaten sprouts like that. Typically I steam my sprouts, so I'm very curious to try them out. It does smell very good, so I'm very curious, and I'm gonna show you the result in a moment. So while the sprouts are cooking, let me just do a quick update of reading and what we did today, because I'm really bad at updating you. But anyway, so we went to this alley of the books, like a book fair today, and I was really pleasantly surprised because honestly I thought that it was just going to be like one floor full of like publishers and publishing houses and bookshops that are presenting stuff at a discounted rate, and I was like floored because there were like 4 floors of so many stands and there were so many people. I mean, it was packed with people. I don't know, I got some footage, so I'm going to try to kind of montage it into this vlog so you can see what I was looking at. I didn't buy anything for myself. The idea was not to buy anything for myself. I've been really good this year with not spending too much on physical books because I'm reading on my Kindle mostly, and also audiobooks as well. We bought 6 books for my son. This was the idea, to go and reward him for being good this week in school, and also kind of buy some stuff that we're going to have him to keep busy during winter break, because we need to start practicing some stuff. Because if everything goes right, he's supposed to go to like the big boy school next year, and I really want him to be as prepared as possible. So we bought some books for him to practice with. I wanted to do a little haul, but he grabbed those books and he is with his dad downstairs doing some of these exercises. He loves it, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, we bought a couple of those exercise books, and we bought a wonderful, really beautifully illustrated Christmas book that we can read as a bedtime story. So we got that, and we got a very beautiful ornament, which is like this handmade lollipop that is just gorgeous, really gorgeous. So that was the haul that we had for today. And then an update about the reading. So I finished Quicksilver and I loved that book. I mean, I understand that romantasy right now is being viewed as the thing that is quite hyped, and not a lot of people will love that every single romantasy book will follow kind of a similar formula of it having either some kind of trials, or it will have some kind of a war between like fae and humans and other creatures. And I understand that people maybe don't love that about romantasy books, but for me, because I'm not a very I'm kind of new to fantasy and romantasy overall, so for me these are kind of new concepts, right? I mean, not really new, but still I enjoy them, and I enjoyed the tension between the 2 characters within the book. I enjoyed the found family within the book. I enjoyed the kind of battle that was going on in the end as well. I don't want to spoil too much, and I was just so immersed within that story. I was so rooting for everything to turn out well, and I loved a couple of the kind of micro tropes within the book where you've got fated mates, but then how do we know that they're fated mates? They get these kind of intricate tattoos when they're intimate, and I'm like, this is just perfect. I love that about the book. So I was really immersed and I really loved it. I gave that one 5 stars, and it's going to again end up in the favorites of the year. I don't know how many favorites I'll have. I feel like every single popular book that has been, no, not every single popular book, but a lot of the popular books that were really popular this year I loved as well. So they're going to end up on my list, so I'm basic like that. But anyway, I finished it, I loved it, and I really cannot wait for the continuation because the ending of that book was great. So I'm looking forward to the continuation. And now I'm actually halfway throughout a book that Beccie from becxreadz loves. It's Isabel Ibanez's second book within her duology that is centered in Egypt. What was it? Where the Library Hides or something like that is the second book, and I'm loving that one as well. I'm so immersed into that book, but I'm not going to talk about it here because otherwise I'm going to spend another half an hour talking about that book. But I've been on a roll with the types of books that I'm picking up and really loving the books that I'm picking up, so I'm really happy about that. This evening I'm going to be reading that, and maybe also read a bit of Bourbon and Secrets because I started on the ebook for that one through Kindle Unlimited. So I've been reading, I've been loving what I'm reading, and I'm happy overall. It's a bit of a rainy day today, so it's the perfect day to just stay at home, cook, eat, read, and then watch a Netflix show. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. And this vlog is a bit of a mess, but you're gonna see some B-roll of everything and nothing that is Christmassy within my household. I don't know yet what I'm gonna make out of this vlog, but I hope it doesn't get an hour long, but let's wait out and see. Let's wait out and see, and let's see how it's gonna turn out. I hope you're enjoying my ramblings. I hope you're enjoying my cooking. I hope you're enjoying just the overall Christmassy vibe. Let's just see how the Brussels sprouts are faring, and then I'm going to be wrapping up this vlog. This is a bit of a weird angle, but I just wanted to show you the Brussels sprouts, how they turned out. I have to say that I cut the time a bit, because according to the recipe it was 15 minutes at 350 degrees, but after about 12 minutes this is what they look like. So I just took them out of the air fryer and they smell delicious. I have to say they smell delicious, and I'm just going to try them. I'm going to They're so good. So good. I would add maybe some chili flakes because I like spice, not only in my books. Maybe some red chili flakes would kind of give it even more of a kick. So I'm going to try that out in a moment, but they're really good. I'm happy I tried out this recipe because I'm going to make them more often. This recipe is a winner. I'm going to leave it down below as well. Great recipe. Try it out. All right, dear friends, I'm sorry about the bad lighting, but we have to do what we have to do here, which is wrap up this vlog because it's been a ride. Thank you so much for sticking around, baking with me, cooking with me, and going out and about while getting in the Christmas mood with my family and in my hometown here. Thank you so much to Vanessa for inviting me to participate in this collaboration, and please find all of the booktubers information down below who are participating in this collab so you can check out their videos as well. And I hope you have a very merry time this December month. I hope you're reading amazing cozy books. I hope you're having the best kind of food, the best kind of company at home, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.